Day now. All right. And we are live. Flashpoint Ebontis. What's going on, man?
Yeah, just got a nice little workout in, but we get closer and closer to Forsaken, and it doesn't feel like it's 2 months away with everything we keep getting. I mean, I look over and it's 7/12. I'm like, this is still September when this thing comes out. We got some time, so it feels like it should be sooner, but just got to ride that hype train just a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You forget, like, we still a little bit, we still a bit of ways, you know what I mean? So it's just like to get all this information so early, it's kind of interesting, but I'm not opposed. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. So
absolutely.
Nice.
So what we got on the docket, man? We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We are going to try and make this a reasonable time frame for you guys. Last week was insanely long, and we know it. We're fully aware of it. But there was a bunch of stuff to cover. So that being said, we want to try to kind of make this a bit more of a somewhat guided path through our thoughts. So we'll see how we do. But first thing, shout out to GuardianCon. That stream was, for one, crazy. There were some huge records, some moments in there. But 2.7, they did it. $2.7 million to run that hospital for a day, and they did it. Like, that is
tremendous. Tremendous, bro. Like, it cannot be understated. Like, it's just one of those things that it's like, say what you want about Destiny, the game itself. Yeah. But there's no better community. I'm sorry. Call me biased. Like 2.7 million for charity, and this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The St. Jude's thing, and like it's all for a good cause. And at the end of the day, like I said, when we started Flashpoint, GuardianCon is kind of like the history of Meanie Montage, right? Like that's our history, like that's our foundation. If it wasn't for that event, I don't meet this man. You know what I'm saying? Like our passion for this game extends to that. So it's very special to me, but at the same time, it's just a positive thing. You know what I'm saying? Just for a good cause. And I've never seen a game really do anything like that, man. So it's definitely commended. I'm very proud, of the community and the turnout, and to see these numbers and to see, these guys do he's like, if you guys hit this amount, the Bungie devs and stuff, saying, hey, we're going to
Pope and Patrick getting matching heart butt tattoos, which is amazing. You had Lupo get 350,000 or something in the middle of his stream.
Yes.
Ninja got a $100,000 anonymous donation, which everybody's guessing is like Epic Games for Fortnite. So I was like, it doesn't matter who does it. I was watching Broman. It's like Bungie's like, here's 1,000 from the dev team. Here's 1,000 from the GuardianCon team. Here's 1,000, and they were just dumping. They probably did like 7,000 because 7's their number. But I mean, it's amazing. Like,
it's amazing.
It's just kind of awesome. So,
and that's what makes you proud of the community, man. It really does. It really does.
So if you guys are out there at GuardianCon, shake some hands, meet some cool people, play Gambit for me. I'm jealous, but go out there, meet some awesome people. There's a bunch of cool people. Just shake hands, say hello, and just celebrate that gaming is doing good things. So
absolutely, man.
Hard to argue with that.
Great stuff, man.
We had to start with that one just because that was amazing. I kind of kept following it throughout the week as it kept building, seeing some of them like Destiny Community Podcast, Pope Bear about lost his stuff, Dado and Triple Rec were doing their thing. So I mean, it was just cool seeing the numbers that would pop up. You're like, hey, who's the streamer? Hey, how'd they do? Oh man, 76,000. Oh, 100,000. Like, it's just awesome stuff in there. So always really cool stuff. So yeah, shout out to that stuff. But let's get into Twab. Deej actually coming out of hiding, writing the Twab.
Deej in the building. He returns.
Well, if you guys have been playing Iron Banner, it's kind of low key this week. There is one more in August. They have confirmed there will be at least one more coming. But 6v6 is going to be all the time in quick play coming next week. So that patch 1.2.3 is on the way.
Fantastic, man. 6v6 should be part of the quick play casual list. I have absolutely no problem. I mean, it was cool that it was reserved to Iron Banner, but it's also dope that now quick play gets that for all the events. Really cool.
Yeah. But Rumble is also coming as a permanent playlist, and then they're giving us some other stuff to work on. So one thing they've still kind of kept fairly vague: bountiful harvest, those bounties. They are returning. Now, bounties were just a nice thing because I haven't noticed myself doing it the other day. I was just doing strike challenges, and then all of a sudden a challenge pops up. I never check them, but randomly I sometimes just do them. Something about bounties, like going in and being like, okay, it's like I want to go, it's like I got something to work on. I'm going to go wander around a planet. Well, I'm going to switch. It makes me play different subclasses. It makes you do different things. So they don't go into too much detail. We know there's probably going to be some Crucible. We know there's probably going to be some out in the world. They said there's going to be different vendors are going to have them. So, I mean, who all do you think are going to have these? Because, I mean, this is pre-Forsaken. So where do you think you're going to be getting these from?
Yeah, obviously is the obviously one is the Shaxx, the Zavala probably with the Vanguard. I'm curious if Ikora gets something, because I know they kind of got her stuck with the meditation, but I kind of feel that needs a revamp, honestly. So I wouldn't be mind if they do something new with her. What I'm hoping for, and I think I'm gonna take a good guess, and obviously I'm a little biased because I'm an Osiris fanboy, but I'm hoping Mercury, man, Brother Vance gets something. We got to do something with the damn, roundabout that is Mercury.
He needs a little help over there.
He needs some help. So there's got to be a reason to come back, and the reason why I'm guessing he'll get something is I think 1.2.3, which we'll get into. He's getting a little love for as far as weapons, as far as the Osiris, the forge stuff.
Yep.
So I'm just hoping that, again, because obviously it's one of the most underutilized, based on the reception of the DLC, location. So they really need to do something with Mercury, and I'm hoping that that it's him. So who do you think as far as vendor wise also get some love as far as bounties?
I mean, him alone, but I probably would say most of them. I mean, I'd like to see Anna and Devrim and all those people, just your faction vendors, but also just your location vendors. But also, I mean, I want to see a Shaxx. I want to see Zavala. I want to see those guys coming in to get just your, some of them have your strike bounty, some of them have your Crucible bounties. And so they've said they will be obtained from a variety of vendors, so that sounds like most of them probably.
Right.
They'll generally reward XP, which is always good for those Eververse packs. You may as well get them for free. We'll cover the Prismatic Matrix in a little bit. Faction reputation, so keep getting those levels. And again, if you're working on bounties, you're working on Zavala. If you want to get a little closer to that, level 50, it's one quicker way to get there. So give you another reason to run strikes, and maybe. Again, like everybody runs strikes the same way. Well, what if you need to go, I need to get Sentinel kills or something? I'm going to run Void, but I typically don't. So we'll see how much those sync up, but should be interesting. They will be able to be redeemed in the field, which is, I'm glad they brought that from D2 or D1. Just like click on it, done.
Yeah, I love that.
So nice.
Yeah, and bounties, like I said, shout out to Kaibatsu, who used to hate the old D1 bounty system. But what I do miss about it is just like it gave you, like I said, you played different. You had more of a structure. I think with the new system, what tends to happen is I don't check it as much, like the left trigger, and it kind of takes me out of my whole gameplay pattern. So I kind of like just looking, grabbing them up. And the cool thing is, from what I understand, you still should be able to cash them out wherever you at. Like you don't have to do the old D1 where you bring it back and then what I'm saying. That was annoying. So at least they fixed that aspect of it. And I'm excited and curious to see as far as rewards, because exotic bounties got to be thrown in here somehow.
Okay, we're getting to that. You're one step ahead, but no.
I'm hyped.
So they said there are 2 new mechanics. Bounties will expire if left uncompleted. Now, some may be daily bounties, so that's probably understandable. You can't just carry them over.
Right.
Acquiring them will have a little bit of glimmer, so I mean they're giving you some reason to have glimmer and keep playing. They said they wanted to avoid the grab every bounty and until your inventory's packed.
Right. So
I mean, have a specific purpose. Go grab a couple. Go do this. Maybe head back. Go do this. But they also said in Forsaken, more vendors will offer more bounties, and some will provide legendary or better, aka exotics, rewards for completing them. So it's fair to observe here that they didn't answer that many questions. They don't want to spoil them, so they've got them come in. And again, this may be like bounties 0.9, and they may kind of take a little thoughts and do kind of more of a day one patch for Forsaken for any tweaks when it comes to it. So again, constructive criticism. Bungie listens to that stuff, but don't be like, "Oh, they all suck." No. Like, okay. I mean, that's sometimes what you just kind of jump to be like, "Oh, these are terrible bounties." This may be like beta bounties, like we'll get 0.9 in there, and then we might get a little more. So if you feel like there should be more or specific or more vendors, make it known. Just do it in a nice way.
Absolutely. As long as, like I said, they're taking the feedback, so it's cool. And this is something that we also wanted. And I'm just curious to see how the XP and reputation systems and reward systems completely work once we get them out in the field. But it's good to have them back, and also more sources of ways to kind of level. So that's always good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just nice to have a little variety of stuff to do. And it's one of those things I was surprised that didn't carry over. It was been there for D1 for 3 years, then all of a sudden no bounties. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know. It
was like, it's weird. I was like, it's not something I ever thought I would miss, and then all of a sudden I was like, why? Oh,
yeah, you're absolutely right. I do miss them. So when I did, remember we were both surprised when they came out. We saw that term on the dev update
calendar. Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Okay, because I mean, I didn't hear a screaming for it, so it was really cool to see them bring that back. I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, I think this is just a little more into the fact that, like, I don't know, Destiny 2 year one, I feel like it was a rush, and they're slowly like, okay, this should have been in there. Let's get that in there. Okay, check.
Yep.
All right, this should have been in there, that in there. Okay, check. Like, they're just working back through things that they just didn't have time for. It's really weird. So,
yeah.
For what else is coming? Again, GuardianCon, if you're out there, enjoy it. Say hey to people. Should be a great time. Again, they've got some huge people out there. I don't know if Ninja's actually going to be at that thing, but I know they got Fortnite involved. They got Warframe involved. They got, and Destiny's finally in a good place that it's going to be involved. I was
actually, you a savage.
No, like literally, like I was thinking before, like when I had a ticket for it, and I was thinking about going, and timing wise, it was probably too close to a vacation, but it felt like Destiny 2 was like not in good spirits, so they were looking for this other stuff because they didn't have the hype behind Destiny. Now that Forsaken's in a good place and Gambit's there and all that appeals there, but like at the time I wasn't sure.
Absolutely. I mean, let's be I'll full transparency, Lord Cognito. Like that was a major part of the decision process. I mean, because when these tickets go on sale, y'all, it's way ahead of time. This was during the complete death period. The game had no pulse. People were raging, leaving, exiting the ship like the Titanic. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, man, I just didn't have the enthusiasm to go. And obviously financially, I had a lot of things going on this year with different events. And so I did want to cut back.
So many conventions going on. Like, man, you had a crazy year.
Yeah, man. It was just too much. And I said, you know what? I think the fact that Destiny wasn't doing good as kind of like was the seal of the deal. Like, I kind of need to save some bread. But now I feel it because it's turned around. And I am feeling it a little bit right now. Like, damn, man, like it looked like it would have been cool. And obviously, a lot of close friends of mine, Cactus HD and Fallout Plays. I've seen the pictures, and I'm like, damn, I used to be. I know where they at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it right now. And one person I never got a chance to meet. I met Bife, but one person I'm a big fan of is an unknown player. And this year, like I never met him the other time. I didn't know if he went the other times, but this time I know for a fact he was there, and I'm like, damn,
I know.
Chop it up with unknown, like that's my dude right there. So a little regret, buyer's remorse right now, but I still think it was the good call for my wallet right now this year.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing too. It's like it doesn't work for everybody every year. I mean, people like Jez, he's coming from Australia or wherever he's coming from, so not everybody can make it, but maybe we'll see if we can, if we keep this thing going. Might have to make a special appearance next year if we can, keep this train going on Destiny 2 being a good thing.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Patch 1.2.3, it's coming. We've talked about Crucible changes like 6v6 and the way they're switching control. And what they're basically going to, we'll get to those Game Informer articles in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We've got a little bit of patch notes and then just some kind of quick, brief overview stuff about
what we got.
Strikes. So we'll get to that in a second. But the quality of life changes like PC Chainclad, that's coming. As you said, the Mercury Forge weapons, once they've all been obtained, so once you've gone through the full thing, you've got your goats, you have all that, they'll be available for direct purchase. So whether if you delete it or didn't quite get it or something like that, you'll be able to pick it up. They are taking momentum out of Heroic Adventures.
Thank God. Get that out of here.
Momentum is one of those that It's like when you're running on your Titan and you like will go for that shoulder charge, it feels like it takes forever for that to activate, but it feels like it takes forever to get your health. It's not just moving. They're like, yeah, if I could just at least be moving back and forth, like strafing, you literally have to be like full sprint for a couple seconds.
Yeah,
and that's not a good way to hide. You can't you have to be exposed. So
I just did one of those, 3 of those with what was it, Kaibatsu. He was helping me out. We was getting some done because I was knocking out my my Polaris Lance quest.
Yep.
And I'm up to the 3 Vanguards. So instead of doing the 3 Vanguards, I'm like, you know what? I didn't do the powerful gear heroic strikes for the week. So I just combined it. And they had that momentum on. I was so disgusted at certain points. Yeah, man. Not feeling it. Will not miss it being gone. Let it get out of there, man.
Yeah. So that's being changed. The pursuits inventory, like where you kind of watch your quest in progress, is actually going to the top. Which isn't a bad thing because that's usually what I look for half the time if I'm checking stuff. So and just for the end-game screens, they're going to just add commas in there for better visibility on numbers. Just simple stuff.
Post-carnage report, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Got a couple exotic fixes. Targets being marked by the Sanguinine Alchemy when you can see through walls. They were also producing orbs.
I got to kind of comment on that. I just started using that exotic, and I'm starting to understand the functionality of it in the Crucible. Like, you can see through walls with this thing. This thing is savage for competitive and trials. It's really good. You put rift down, boom. I'm kind of mad that I didn't know it produced orbs as a glitch.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I'm gonna have to take advantage before this thing go. I didn't know that, so I'm glitching in trials this week, y'all. Full disclosure.
They said Starfire Protocol does not work with Dawnblade's attunement of the Sky Path, so they're fixing that. And then prevented the Warlock melee damage when using Ophidian Aspect and Hive Sword. Just some couple weird little glitches. But we also have strikes. Okay, I don't know if you've seen them. I've thought about doing it. So many people hate the strike modifiers right now.
Right.
I mean, even in the 113 questions or whatever they had about Destiny 2, they're like, are you going to make heroic strikes easier? Are you going to make Nightfalls harder? They're like, we're working on that. I'm like, those are like brutal questions to ask the devs straight up, but it's like Nightfalls aren't that hard. Heroic strikes sometimes are just kicking your butt. And also some of the modifiers, a lot of people have said they're not fun. Like Grounded, you're going, okay, I literally can't use half of my point of being Guardian. Jumping.
Exactly. Like, how fun is that? Like, who said that was fun? Who said that memo out?
Yeah, let me run around. Oh, you've got a fight where you've got a giant worm that's going to light the ground on fire. You have to jump now.
Yeah.
Okay, so no. Blackout's another one. I mean, come on. That was, if you're with a group, it's fine. I mean, because you'll get it. But I mean, there's sometimes you're doing, trying to think which one I was.
Blackout's the radar one, right? Which one is
Blackout? Radar, but also the lethal melee.
Yes.
So it's like whether if there's like a bunch of thrall coming at you, or all of a sudden you don't catch like the Hive Knight that spawns off to the side and walks around a pillow and then smash your dead. Like, it just sucks.
Yeah.
So,
those are annoying, man.
I mean, maybe those could be a bit harder on Nightfall, but find a way to scale them for heroics so heroics aren't like the most brutal thing ever. Kind of rough. And then Glass is another one they're working on. So they said they want to ensure enemies' melees are still threatening, but they're like, they shouldn't just like, you know, if I'm 380 and I'm running a 350 strike, shouldn't be a one shot. Now, if you get like overrun by dogs, yeah, you're probably going to get taken out pretty quick. But if one dude punches you, you should survive now, which seems a little fair.
Fair enough. I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah. Grounded. One of the biggest things is just if you're if you're in the air at all, whether bump off a ledge or falling down, that extra damage is so much.
Yeah.
So they're trying to tone that to where, you know, it's not quite as bad, especially if you're like falling from, 2 meters and get just sniped.
Yeah, and they consider that jumping. Like that's way too punishing. There's no doubt.
Yeah, so that's getting a tweak, and Glass is getting a tweak. They'll have more patch notes, but just the fact that they are addressing these somewhat, I wish they would honestly just kind of get a little more creative or give us more variety in some of these. I'm gonna miss even if it's like kinetics or energies, or they have the heavy in there. I'd like to just see a little more push on the other weapons, just as variety as well. What if it's, precisions do double damage, energies do half, or vice versa? Make you play with specific guns, like. Just have that be I don't know. I just like to see more variety on that stuff still, because we just have the same 3 and all I do is wait for heavy to show up. Still the only way I do heroic strikes.
No, you're right. That's absolutely. I mean, that's a tried and true strategy. So I will agree with you on that, on your thought process with this.
So it's just kind of one of those where I wish there was a little more variety. I'm glad they're starting to address it. So we'll see how these go, but doesn't sound like enough, but as long as it's not quite as brutal, then at least with the buffs, it might be all right. But again, yeah, just more variety. I mean, so what if you had to make up one that helps you, one that hurts you? Just a couple strike ideas, strike modifiers.
I'm not good with this modifier stuff, to be honest. You know, to be full disclosure,
it's not easy to do, but that's kind of the thing. You put them on the spot, like, okay, how do you fix it? And everybody's like,
no, you're right. You're right. And we're the first to complain and be like, Bungie needs to because I'm mad. And then, so how do you fix it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guilty.
It's like,
I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged right now because I mean, I'm not the strike modifier dude. To be honest, I just deal with it, right? So it's annoying, momentum and glass, and I just deal with it. I like my new things. I just come up with ways to kind of cheese the system. You know what I'm saying? But in the most part, they need to come up with something that, like I said, from a newer standpoint, that is again not punishing, but not to the point of complete frustration where it's like borderline unplayable with certain strikes. You know, that one where you couldn't jump in with, what's that one? Oh man, it ends. I know the cheese how to beat you can beat the Cabal. You're fighting in a Vex world. He comes crashing down. He smashes a Vex.
Oh, like, trade probabilities. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that one, we don't even get to that part. You know what I'm saying? Yo, shout out to Drew in the chat. He said, I love them strike modifiers on my Prestige Nightfalls. Not trying to grind out heroics anymore. That ship ain't that great.
No.
I feel you, Drew. Here's the thing. Like, see, my cheese, like before the cheese, what we do is we fight the strike normally. He crashes on the guy, you beat him, he runs. Then he gets to that part where there's two, pits on the side, and he just knocks you off. And then if you got that stupid modifier, the minute you're in the air, you're finished. Like, so my thing is like, you know what? I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna grab these lutefaction boots. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, have a hunter unload. Yeah,
hunter do the tether. I got the lutefaction boots with the solar burn, I believe, this week, and then we had
what's called a power rip. So done.
Bro, oh my god! We had 3 sleepers. It was over. He did not escape that room. We melted him. So I was like, yeah, we ain't even dealing with that other nonsense. But again, it shouldn't have to come to these extreme methods.
Yeah.
To stop this guy. So rant over. I know I'm going up my rant a little bit.
Yeah. So what if it was just one of those where it's like, hey, you've only got 2 varieties. Now they'd have to fix the juggle thing. What if you've only got kinetic and power? Just flat out take a weapon slot away. Don't hurt you, but then you're actually stuck with one type. Like it'd be kind of an interesting twist. So I don't know, just like, I mean, have like 10 different modifiers. So it's not just like the same for your rotations every week. I mean, just, you've got to have some stuff that's out there just to give us some variety. What if kinetic does more? Or what? Remember ones like even D1 had some decent ones like matching energy shields. Like I didn't love it, but it actually was a way that you had to think. Hardlight would come get used a little bit more. So just some more variety in there, I think would be really good. So it's one of those things that I think needs it, but it's kind of an interesting topic. Next, we got the prismatic matrix. So I mean, strikes, we know changers are coming, so we're waiting on patch notes. We'll dig into those next week.
Yes, sir.
But the prismatic matrix, enjoy it because it's dropping off for a little bit. So if you got it, unfortunately, I think I've got tokens that I can't even use right now. But what do you generally think about the prismatic matrix so far?
To be honest, I actually don't mind it. What will happen is I usually have about 3 of them stored. I'll run over there to old, Lady Tess and see what's going on. And I literally, it's a confession. I low-key look forward to tests on the research.
No, I didn't.
Okay, I thought I was older because people get killed if they say they like any type of microtransactions in Destiny, right? But low-key, I'll be on my ornament game. Like I'll be liking them on and certain emotes that elude me. So I'll go into the prismatic. I'll say, okay, what you got this week? Okay, boom. All right. So I'll knock out and I'll level up my engrams normally. And then as it gets closer, I'm like, you know what? It's either this one or that one, or, I'll try to guarantee the ones I want and get stuff that way. I think I got a sleeper ornament that way and some other stuff that I want and emote that way. So I don't mind it, So I guess what they're looking at right now, trying to fix it. They're trying to drop fewer duplicate items and give players.
Basically what they were trying to do with it in the first place, they were testing it. And they said their stated their goals were give more players more control how they earn Eververse, offer a more predictable path each week so that guarantees specific items, and drop fewer duplicates. And honestly, the last few weeks, I've had almost everything checked off.
Me too.
I was like, if you play enough and you get enough of those,
you're going to get everything.
You're going to be close. So They said this week the user interference calls specific attention to the limited time feature to explain our previous objectives and future. It is a once a week thing.
Right.
The original intent was to make the prismatic matrix for kind of a special event, something to help players round out their collections as the odds of earning items would elude them. So thanks to some good feedback for the new feature, they're going to try and make it better, and they're going to bring it back with Forsaken. So I don't know if it'll be at launch. If not, so it's probably going to drop off for the next 6 weeks or so. But honestly, I'm the same way. Like, just the fact that there was one emote I was missing, and it was the Hack the Warmind one. And I was like, I was like the ones with like that LED that glows on and stuff. And that was the only thing I was missing. And I had 3 stored up. Bam, I got it, and I'm done. And it was like, and that was one of those just by playing enough and just by getting enough engrams, I crossed most of those boxes off, and I could actually go for the one I want without having to spend anything, and it was good. So I like it. Like, I have no objection to it. And I know everyone hates Tess, but honestly, look at everything she's got. Emotes, transmat effects, shaders, cosmetic armor, ornaments. It doesn't change the game. Everybody's always like, oh, it's a slippery slope and all this stuff. Now, the closest thing I've even got to it is my ghost. Now, it still doesn't change the game, but let me, if this thing will load, sorry. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up Destiny Item Manager so I can actually get the info here.
Get the info, pull the info up.
Okay. So it's on my other screen, but I just want to be able to read what it does. My one that has been the best, and it's exotic. So the Generate Gunsmith Telemetry, which is so useless, by the way. That doesn't matter either. It's just like, oh, here's another token. Almost all of them can do that. The only one that I love is detects caches within a 50, the star map shell.
That was a dope.
Detects caches within 50-meter range, so I see them a lot more than I used to, and increase glimmer gain. So I mean, it's still minor.
I like that though. Glimmer game is important, man. Especially you keep grinding. And at least
I was like, the 50 meters, I see them so much more frequently than I just be driving around. And I just pop a little more, and it gets me to go out of my way a little bit more. It's minor. I mean, it's still like one token. Woo. I mean, in the general state, but honestly though, it's like if you miss a chest or don't quite see it, it still doesn't affect really anything. So the whole slippery, they've never put anything that weapons. They never put guns in there. They never put anything with perks. Like that's never been there. And like, just stop worrying about it. Like, oh, they're gonna have microtransactions, so I buy this stuff. Play the game, and honestly, I've earned most of it. Seriously,
absolutely, I agree. I always felt the quote unquote microtransaction in Destiny has always been overrated. I've always felt that's been way overblown. The only time I had to admit, at least I felt D2 for the most part. The only time they kind of dropped the ball is when they kind of. Well, that's one. I was gonna get there. That's a big one. That's a big one. I spent that. I ain't got full disclosure.
Yeah, you got it.
Lord Cognito is the Lord of the realm, so there was no way I was missing that. I didn't care. I was like, y'all gonna have to crucify me. Don't judge me. But the second one was when the only times I have a problem with it is like when they did. Oh, I call it Festival of the Cost. Like when there's things you can't get except from buying from her, then I got a problem. Because even though it's cosmetic, I'm like, damn, I can't earn it. And like that, even that, what was it, the Dawning, that gear set was lit. Remember? That's where they had to get their wrist slapped a little bit. But again, not that it broke the game, just that there was no way you can obtain it through normal gameplay. That's where I had issues.
Yeah, see, I like the one. It's like, okay, so say you work a lot, you don't have that much time, but there's something you really, really, really want, and you don't quite have the time. Then you have the option, not required. You have the option to buy it. You should honestly just be able to buy like the pieces, maybe for like 100 silver a piece or something like that.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if you're like, hey, I'm gonna probably be playing a lot this week anyway, probably gonna earn most of it. Maybe I miss one. But yeah, just have a way in game to earn that stuff. Give both options. That was the same thing with the Iron Banner emote that pissed everybody off. And I kind of feel it. Is an emote, again, there's so many emotes, kind of woo, but just the fact that it was like, this is Iron Banner. We all love Iron Banner, and there's no other way to earn it. So it was like, did I really care? To a point, no. It's like, no, I didn't spend my money on it. But just the fact that you couldn't earn something that is like tried and true to our hearts in the world of Iron Banner, that stung. And it was just one of those, and it was timing was the biggest one. That's when Destiny was down in the dumps, and you're gonna slap us with that. You're like, wrong moment. Wrong moment to do that.
Yeah, not a good time.
No. But I mean, overall, it's like I enjoy the fact
Mhm.
that Prismatics gives me like a checkbox, and it's like,
Yeah.
and if I've got the 3 that I've saved up, and there's like
Yep.
there's 3 things left to uncheck, but there's one I really, really want,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get it, and
Yeah,
then
I like
I can
it.
go back to work on earning. So it's like I'm okay with it. So whatever, if they just kind of give it a little more of a tweak and keep it
Hmm.
going where it's going, I'm fine with it. Just don't break it.
Yeah,
It's good
I
and
felt the
okay. Don't
intent
make
is
it
fine.
worse.
I agree. I felt the intent was fine. As long as you play the game, you're gonna get this stuff. And this to me was more of an assistance to a direct path of something you want.
Mhm.
That's how I looked at
Yeah, it gives you a little
it.
variety, gives you
Hmm.
not quite, instant purchase, and you still get the
Right.
bright dust and stuff. So
Hmm.
I actually got one of the random bright dust, like 1,000 bright dust from one of those. I got the huge,
Hmm.
huge gift of bright dust. I was like, oh, there we go. I hadn't had
Hmm.
that one in forever.
Right. Hmm.
So it's just nice to have.
No doubt.
But yeah, so I mean, for the TWAB, they talk about the Game Informer articles, and we're going to cover a couple of those. They
Hmm.
mention moments of triumphs are out there, by the way, guys. So
Hmm.
how are you doing
Yes.
on your moments, by the way? Are you basically
I'm
ready?
almost done. Like I think it was one. I forgot which one. I'll have to look at my app in a minute. But I got a lot of the hard stuff out, and I'm so happy I prestige Valor because I knew that was going to be annoying. Now that when I realized, oh, that's part of the triumph, I was like, let
Yep.
me do this now with the triple XP weekend because I was like,
Triple
yo,
XP, Mayhem. It was just like, it was a kind of an easy, chill way to do it. Yeah.
yeah, man. Because I was like, it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to regret it outside of this weekend doing it and leveling the normal way. You know what I'm saying? As far as the increases in rank. So got that done. I got a lot done. I think it's something like fragments or some things that I'm missing.
Yeah, I've got to get a couple of things on Mars. I've got to get
Mm.
some of the regional chests, like a couple things like
Yeah,
that won't be
that's
bad.
all I
Like I got to
got.
go
Yeah.
grind the regional chest, and I was
Yeah.
actually going to work on some videos for those when I get to them.
Oh, nice. I'll be watching Ivanta's video. So
Be like,
good.
where do I get all these
Yeah,
things,
yep.
man?
I'll have that bad boy right up on the side. Oh, I'll shop that video, baby. Let's go.
It's like cue it up on the cell phone. Okay, we
Oh,
go over here. Sweet. All
facts.
right, drive it
I
along.
have that
Nice. Good
nice,
stuff.
smooth Ebontis Bob Royce painting. And this is what.
Um, so what you're going to do is you're going to load into the rig, and we're going to drive over here across this platform. It's going to be up on your right-hand side behind these
Yes,
5 quarters. Like, I mean, that's how I do it. Drop it clean.
yes.
So.
Carry me to victory. Ebontis.
So, but yeah, I mean, I just like it kind of, it's that
Mhm.
annual checklist. I like that they kind of keep these going. So, honestly, kind of looking forward to having this in game though, with the like the triumphs and the collections and all the stuff that we can work on. So glad to see they're dabbling in that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the triple XP, I got a feeling they might do 1 or 2 more weeks of that before we get around to Forsaken. But as it was paired up with Mayhem, I was like, yep, some grinding is gonna happen.
Oh yeah, you know it.
So that's mostly it for the TWAB. As you guys know, Game Informer keeps dropping some crazy stuff.
What, man, bombs.
First one is, now we talked about the supers last time, but we're just gonna go through quick
Yeah.
touches on each one, and just kind of, now that you've seen them in action in the videos, and you guys can go back and watch the videos, the GIFs will be up. I want you guys just to give me your thoughts on not you guys. I mean, if in chat, feel free to throw them out there as well. But we just want to go through and get quick thoughts on each one now that you've kind of seen them a little bit more in action. So, Hunter, Way of the Current. What do you think?
Yeah, I like.
Yeah,
I like a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it was good, like you said, to see it visually, right?
Yeah.
Because that really gives you a whole deal. And I just like that, the whole Tempest Strike thing, the reload synergy with the lightning weave, and then that electrifying the target stuff. And to be honest, I still think that Whirlwind Guard, where you do you know what I mean, and you block.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think that's gonna have so much functionality. And then if you just disengage, you triple damage with the super. Listen, I know I've been speaking to some hunters. Actually, I shouldn't say some. One hunter, shout out Bloody Knuckles. He's he's in this like hunter, what I call a hunter envy stage, where he's looking at all the other supers and like, oh, hunters got screwed. And I'm like, look, I get it. You may have wanted more flash, right? I get it. You may say, hey, this is just Arc Strider again. Okay, fine. But here's the thing. In my opinion, these hunter supers have way more practical functionality in a day-to-day use than the other ones. I'm not saying that the other ones don't have some really cool, amazing things. I'm not going to say that. But I think the people who think that the Hunter class new supers are not flashy, when you actually play them in game, I think these things are going to be way more effective. That's just me.
Yeah, and it gives you variety to each type. I mean, you've got something where it's aggressive up in your face, and now you've got the reflect damage where you know, if you've got a boss dumping some stuff at you, well, okay, fire it right back. So it changes. And I think that's what they said. The biggest thing, if you watch this video, they took whatever the class was and whatever they felt that was missing and tried to give you an alternative, trying to give you another feel, another way to play with each subclass. So that was actually pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, honestly, just the fact the uppercut's in there, that one actually is one of the parts I'm digging the most. The slide and staff uppercut. Yeah, just looks cool. That's what this gift's doing over and over. But yeah, the whirlwind is just cool. You're like, oh, crap moment. All right, spin. That's going to be the one, as you said. Everybody's going to private matches. All right, what can we reflect? If we reflected void bombs, we in trouble.
Absolutely.
So that'll be cool. Hunter, I got to see the knives a little bit. We got a little variety. They're fast, but like on a boss, they look like they hit hard.
I was just about to say that. And again, Bloody Knuckles, I'm calling you out because one of the main things I told him, I said, listen, you remember when we read the Informer article initially, we didn't have any visuals, we didn't see any video, right? I told him, I said, bro, you got all this stuff, you know, the hunter, I mean, the Titan does this, and the Warlock summons, you know, the realms of whatever, and it sounds spectacular. But I told him, I said, listen, man, until we see those damage values, right? Until we see how effective these things in the real world, we can't get caught up with the verbiage, right? Yeah. I saw that Hunter super. You know what I'm saying?
Man, on that boss,
bro, he
just lit him up.
It felt like a more precise and powerful Nova Bomb, and that's effective. Do you know how quickly it's an offensive super? Things that hunters kind of cry out sometimes, as far as you know, your abilities and stuff. And dude, that's serious. That looks like a high damage dealing super. The way he melted in that video, I was like, wow, that boss, that's gonna be a problem. Make no mistake.
Yeah. I was like, also, and it was, I like how they described, if it's one target, it pretty much will focus everything on it. But if there's like a spread of enemies, he's like, it's going to be like 20 spread out. So it's like, it's multifaceted for what you're facing, which was really cool.
And did you read or watch the video where they said like, you can do it and shoot from forward and then shoot from behind or something like that? Did you catch that one?
If your sensitivity is high enough, it's like once, like turn around and see if you can hit one behind you. Yeah, it's gonna take. It might be a high skill. Like if you go like two in front, you can get left and right and hit them both. Like it's gonna be fast and quick. So
absolutely.
Next is Way of 1,000 Cuts. Oh, that's the gunslinger. So Night Stalker, Way of the Wraith. Wraith. Pretty sure it's Wraith, not Wrath.
No, it's Wraith. It's Wraith. It's definitely Wraith. Yeah, man, that one's mean too.
So you got the spectral blades. You got your basically whip out your katanas, go invisible, get in the mix, mess some people up. Looks cool, man.
And remember the key thing too with the gaining true sight, invisibility, and true sight with just a precision kill with full health. Do you know how easy that is to proc?
Yeah, precision kills, like
bro.
Scout rifles, hand cannons, hunters are just gonna be walking around. Where you at, bud? Be like, man, you're not gonna find me.
You're not. Think about Crucible too. Precision kill, boom, you're invisible, automatic, like, and true sight, knowing where everything is. Come on, like again, Bloody Knuckles. I'm calling you out again. These are powerful, amazing things and crazy synergy. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got the corrosive smoke bomb we were wondering. It's actually a line of smoke, so it's more like a smoke wall, which is cool. You've got the shattering strike perk that you'll weaken them with, reducing their damage output. Like, there's a lot of good things in there for hunters. They may be a little more on the subtle side, but I mean, they literally wanted the Way of the Wraith. They wanted you to be a ninja, and they pretty much nailed it.
Shout out to Drew. He said Way of the Wraith is a cheat code.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So,
watch.
Should be fun.
Should be fun.
So Titans, next one. We got, now I got to see what this walking shield looks like.
Look at the circumference of that.
I know, it's pretty cool. You can stack like a good 3 or 4 people behind you, firing through it as you walk through, facing a boss. Just good stuff, man. Digging that one. Now, the other cool one they really talk about in the video is now we got to see the detonators. So, like, you hit somebody with a detonator, you tag it, you start exploding it. And if it's a group of enemies and that one explodes, then there's more. So, I want to see how somebody's like, I want to see Esoteric, like, with like a mob of thrall, hit that one, detonators, they spread and spread. Like, he's just going to have an awesome, like, little montage.
Oh, yeah, you already know.
Then you've got Way of the Missile. I still love how this is called Code of the Missile. Code of the Missile, not like Code of the
like something spiritual or like this code of shooting and blowing stuff up.
Yeah, code of Missile, Code of Flying Explosion Man, and they wanted to get like instead of a roaming super, it's just one. But dude, when they land this thing, I mean, I know they're hitting weak enemies, but they're doing 134,000 damage when they land this thing. I mean, being as it's not roaming and you can't keep hitting that super, it has to be big. So that's why I was like, I hope the damage is matching. And the other cool thing, jump up in the air, hit your melee, smash the ground.
Smash the ground. Yeah,
I love that. So it's like a little mini super all the time.
Yeah. Shout out to the fire team chat. I spoke I believe it was my boy Finnegan who we played Gambit with at E3. Yeah. He said that when you jump in the air, the only thing with that super, it plays different because you won't be able, I believe you won't be able to skate with that class.
Oh,
yeah, you lose that charge and that mobility. So you play, it's a different play style. But he said it's one of those things, shout out to Steve, where you like, you have to get adjusted to it. But once you get it down and have that functionality with the melee, it's going to be situational for certain things. Sometimes you're going to want to pick a class that you want to be able to move around, but it's different. It plays different, man. And a lot of people dig it still.
Nice. Then we got Code of the Devastator. So 2 things. A throwing hammer you can pick up, and I like how in the video is like, no, my hammer, I gotta go get it. And it was just funny how people really do not want to leave their hammer. But if you pick it up, like, hammer, go pick it up, hammer, go pick it up. Like it feels like it's gonna be just usable all the time. And then just the fact that you have the giant,
it's a melee.
Yeah. And just the giant hammer smashing fire tornado is still awesome. So that's just beast mode.
It to me gives the whole Thor and Milner. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, I can't quite say it right.
I can never pronounce his name. It gives me that whole fantasy. Like you throw the hammer, it drops down, you go get it. You know what I'm saying? You get your power back. Like they're really tapping into Thor, Marvel, universe. I like the thought process. Sounds dope. And just a melee that you can throw at somebody, that it's going to make the Titan play very differently. Very cool.
Indeed. So next we got the Warlock, Dawnblade, Attunement of Grace. And this is, I hope they start going a little farther into this because you want to know how useful this is going to be in our raid. Now, the only thing about a healing grenade is I was wondering, you never see your buddy's health.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. There's no indication. Yeah,
it's not like World of Warcraft. I have my health meters up top. I know who I need to throw in at.
That's a good point. Cool. I didn't think about that.
You don't have a way to know just to throw a health grenade. Now, they said there's one where you could drop it on the ground and can get picked up. You can throw it others and kind of gets like an area. And if you're doing like group damage, you could definitely be like, hey, do we need health to like heal through this right now? Let me just keep throwing the grenades on the ground. Whatever it is, it's just kind of one of those that I'm not entirely sure when it comes to that type of stuff. Exactly how it's gonna work.
No, that's a fantastic point. I mean, let's be honest, the perfect Sherpa class. Like if you want to Sherpa some people and you're running a strike and some blueberries is messing things up. You know what I'm saying? Like you could definitely help the crew out, help your fire team out. That is a great point on energy. Maybe there's something in place that while you have the class, or maybe at the minute you charge the grenade, it gives some type of health indicator. Because like you said, how are you to know, who's really hurt and who's in need? So that's a valid point. But
I mean, they almost need to put like green health bars on when you're with people, so you can actually watch. Because otherwise, I'd be throwing in the wrong person. So that's just one of those things coming from a MMO that you kind of got a question about. But I mean, just the Well of Radiance, smash your sword down. Big circle of extra damage, extra healing, and just start melting stuff. Yeah, that'll be huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Attunement of the Stormcaller.
Interesting. Just wanted to say back up 1 second, just with the Well of Radiance, which I did play at
Yep.
E3. That's actually Healing Rift and Empowering Rift in one rift.
Yeah. It's
that's
ridiculous.
Sick. Yeah, that's sick. So I just wanted to put that out there with that. But now let's move on to, you said Attunement of the Grace. Now this is the no, I said that was a Dawnblade. The other one, what's the new one?
So the new one is Attunement of Control.
Control. Right. This is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like the arc energy thing, you know, on the ground.
Yeah, the ionic traces that refill your energy and stuff when you pick them up.
Kind of like a Master of the World stuff. And then they're bringing back Pulse Wave. Pulse Wave was an old passive that wanted with Stormcaller that pretty much was very good in PvP and just in general. When you got your health low, like your speed and help you get out of danger very quickly, it's like you became more agile. So that was cool. I believe it had a little recovery burst with it in Deep
Nice.
1. So I don't know if they bring that part to it as well, but I miss Pulse Wave. Pulse Wave was very underrated. Really helps your team. And then you got this ball lightning thing, right? Range.
Yeah.
Still got to know. Still want to know what this is about. You know what I'm saying? That you know, you kind of produce that projectile that shoots out lightning. Got to see how that goes.
Is that like a small, like, how you can floating fireball thing?
Yeah, like I don't know. I got to see this in action.
That's weird.
Yeah, I got to see how that's actually functional. But that's Superman, that Chaos Reach, that Kamehameha with the just hold it down.
Oh, it just looks like Boss Melter.
It looks like Boss Melter, and also, you know, the ultimate ability of just stopping it.
That's cool. That's the first one you can do that. Like save half of it. Okay, I killed what and that way it gives you an option to use it more often because if you melt a room and you're done, save it.
Yeah,
but normally you'd have to just wait for it to time out and you're good and you're done.
And I'm thinking of something like that they're tuning, which is the Crown of Tempests, and that's something that's all about building your super energy up, right? Yep. So imagine pairing it with that class. And just keep getting your super over it. Like it. So it's going to be interesting on balance because I believe one of the devs said, yeah, this one might break the game. The dev said it. He was just like,
we'll see. Yeah,
like we might, but I kind of like the bravery in them. And now since the turnaround in D2, where something's powerful, they're like, you know what? Let's just leave it in there.
I wonder how much it takes off when it starts. Because think about like, hey, if you're about to face somebody PvP, and just fire, it's probably going to melt them pretty quick. Then turn it off, and then just wait for it to come back. Like you might be able to pop this thing on and off fairly quick.
So I think in PvP they may have to lessen it and kind of make it a little bit stronger than maybe like a Prometheus Lens or a Cold Heart, where it's not, you know, it's still like a second or two.
Not like an instant melt.
It can't be instant because if it's instant, and it, you know, you can literally wipe out the whole team.
Yeah, just pop it on, pop it off, like run around, shoot one guy, pop it on, pop it. Like you just potentially always could have it, especially if people are at range.
I just thought about it though. If you pop it off, have we confirmation that if you pop it off, you can pop it back on? I mean, maybe
I think, but I think you'd have to turn it off and get it back full again, maybe. But
yes, they have to balance it that way.
Yeah, like you'd have to get it back a little bit, but that way you'd still have it more frequently.
Yes,
because most of the time, if somebody uses Golden Gun, they're probably going to go blow all 6 shots on one, maybe 2 people.
Facts.
Like if you pop it on, pop it off, and you still have like 3/4 of it left, it's going to be that quick.
Yeah,
so
that's still good. You're right. It's still effective. Absolutely.
And then final one, Void Attunement of Fission. So this is Ninja Warping Explosion Man.
Yeah, man. The possibilities. I want to see how powerful that explosion is going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It also seems to have like a mini devour
charge time.
Yeah, low charge time. I want to see that. And I just got to see how it works. Is it something that the explosion is instantaneous? Can you control when you do it? Do you have to blink a bunch of times, a certain amount of time, and then it does it? You know, I can see it covering ground. I can see it being real evil in PvP. I'm just visualizing Banner, Control Point, 6 Guardians. They're trying to think about that will avoid team shots. It's like boom, boom, boom. I'm on you, explode.
Yeah. Woo. It's got a little bit of a delay, but if you're in there, you're probably good. So
we're gonna see how that one works.
But I'm going back to what I said last week. They got to make sure they buff those other ones because all these are smoking the current supers, and I haven't heard it. I haven't heard him mention about, oh, by the way, yeah, we're looking at the other supers. If they leave them as they are,
Relax, E. I'm telling you, we got you, man.
like,
we got you.
We got that little bet. We'll see. We'll see.
We got the bet. We got. There's no way it would be. You would never play the other classes.
Day one of Forsaken. I still think those old ones are exactly as they are. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. The bet's still on, man. We got put some stakes in there.
So that pretty much covers the supers. We kind of just wanted to touch on those quickly. We are excited. Hype train is rolling. Coal is on that fire.
Fast, because we got the visuals too.
Yeah, that was nice just to be able to see them all. Specifically,
shout out to the dev, man. He was so cool.
Oh, he was so hyped about that stuff, man. I loved. I forget it was Wozniewski or somebody shouted him. It's like, dude, shout out to him just because he was absolutely loving every minute of that explanation. Because he's out there like he was like the developer of the supers, and he was just loving talking about it. It's like you love to see that passion. So it was really cool. But yeah, so we're getting to basically now they're talking about Forsaken's outlaws, and they bring new life into the old worlds. So they're kind of changing up lost sectors. They're changing up kind of some of your daily activities. There's the whole thing of Spider, and he's kind of your main dude you talk to for the Tangled Shore, I think. And he's the one who's part of like, hey, the prisoners got out, all the crazy stuff happening. Well, some of the prisoners got out to other places. So now as you go wander around, you might find them as public event bosses. You might find them as just random roaming enemies. You might find them in lost sectors. Like, so there's going to be more of this spill over of the reef to everywhere, which is good. I always like when they take, Taken and it went everywhere. Like, it was good. It gives it a better feel of a world changing event. And that's what they need more of. They need to have like, okay, the Taken's out, Taken craps everywhere. Okay, the prison's out. Okay, prisoners are messing everybody up. So I mean, I like they're spreading that stuff out.
Yeah, I agree. And that was one of you just nailed it, because that was one of the big complaints with Osiris, the DLC, because it felt like such a self-contained story that didn't have anything to do with anything or affect the rest of the Destiny world. Right? It was just so self-contained, and to see stuff like that where these guys are getting out and going places and doing stuff, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so you'll see them everywhere. There's going to be a new triumphs for actually hunting some of these specific ones down. So you'll be crossing them checklist off, trying to actually go find them all. So give you a reason to go to different places, different times, do different activities. Just more reasons to go through. But they also said there's going to be outlaws, and those actually seem like the big boy versions of these. Yeah. So we got a little video teaser as they go through a lost sector, and it literally changes up the lot. I mean, the one on Titan's pretty specific because that's the one you see. Right. And normally the one on Titan, you just have the one ogre, you melt it, you go pick it up, you're done. Right. Pretty straightforward. This takes that lost sector and cranks it up to basically a heroic lost sector, if you want to think about it that way. And it's going to turn it into something with a different task. You've got the quote summoner that you need to get to, which is a wizard, but it's basically an invulnerable shield. Well, you take on this massive, huge, spongy health ogre that's going to mess up the room. There's more guys coming through. There's a shrieker involved later. Like, they take the lost sector and just flip it on its head. Like, this is going to be the esoteric, or what I'm going to try and do. Like, these are going to be solo challenges because these are going to be rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I like that. It adds that different layer, that extra level of difficulty. People always complain things are too easy. Okay. And I even like the fact that you got to be even a certain level to even be able to deal with some of these bounties that Spider wants you hunting these outlaws. So outlaw lost sectors, pretty cool. Nice little touch to it to add that extra tension, that, difficulty level. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's going to be 3 different tiers, travel across each location, do different things. He's like, and then you'll have the newest one, and that's the outlaw one. So that specific one is what we're talking about. So they said they were able to play through 2 different ones. One's on the European Dead Zone. They said they were going through, but the second one, they said they flat out died. And honestly, the devs were happy. They're like, yes, like they were happy they made something difficult, that it wasn't just like walk through and do it. They want to make this game harder, which I'm okay with. But I was like, as long as it's harder within a reason of not being just like, I guess what I always hated was being like, we're 32 in Dark Below. and the enemies were straight up 33. Like it's an artificial. I hate the artificial boost.
Yeah.
Like make it harder, more enemies, or you got like mechanics where you got to go through waves and all these things come around and you got to be moving and mobile. That stuff, fine, but don't just like I'm going to smash you a little bit harder because you can never get to my level. That always kind of annoyed me in the end game. But that being said, they actually sound like they do have some cool mechanics in this too, because they said they've got little shanks that would drop bombs, then you pick up the bombs and throw them at them. It's like, that's what I want. More mechanics coming into this. So, and this is just in like lost sectors and little things. So those sound really cool. They're learning.
They're learning, man. They're learning.
They really are.
I love it. And like I said, I love this difficulty stuff. I feel since Warmind, since Escalation Protocol, that difficult content that it's like, okay, I got to level, I got to come back. You know what I mean? I need a full crew. Like just those type of the thought process behind making stuff very difficult with also the combination of great rewards. That to me is like the essence of the Destiny grind that people love, right? When they're getting that shotgun or whatever. And now if they just translate that based on paper, what we're hearing with these lost sectors, the outlaw lost sectors, all this kind of stuff, the spider stuff. I like the idea of not being strong enough to go after certain people just yet. And you just kind of building your way. And it's that sense of accomplishment when you have it. So this is the track. And I think they're getting it, man. I really do.
So, I mean, this paired with your weekly resets happening more often. And I'm still trying to figure that out because I forget who I was listening to. It's like, is the weekly reset just going to be twice a week? Because it's 7 days for a week, obviously, but they said it was 4 days.
Right.
4 days is going to have that thing on just an oddball rotation all the time. Or is it like half the week and half the week? So I'm kind of curious how that 4 day rotation is going to go. These and potentially say these things come up every 4 days. You're going to have stuff to do all the time. I mean, everybody works during the week. Okay, do a little bit on Tuesday. Okay, basically you got a full reset over the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, you can basically just jump in just more frequently now. So that's honestly kind of awesome.
That's kind of fire, man. I'm with you.
I'm like kind of awesome. Trying not to get too hyped.
But try to keep it contained. But we feeling it. I'm hyped too, man.
Yeah, there's this little person inside me going, "It's awesome!" And there's going like, "Hold on."
Yeah, it's like both sides of your shoulders. Like, protect yourself. Don't get hurt. Just make sure. You know what I'm saying?
You've been down it before, and the bad guy's like, "No, it's going to be freaking amazing." Yeah, it's like, no, I don't know. It's just like they had these pieces in place. Like lost sectors were like, "Hey, here's a lost sector. Okay, it's a little place to run through and pick something up. Okay, now we're doing stuff with those. Hey, we've got public events. Okay, now you're gonna have like world, prisoners coming out there. It's like they're finally starting to add on. They're finally getting to building this world out again. So no, if you hadn't had a chance to play, it's going to be a lot of stuff. So I know you were saying Cat Daddy Fat Stacks, by the way, I don't say that 10 times fast. I'm gonna have it.
I just shouted him out. Bro, you better get on Ebontis' channel. Let me tell you something, man. This man tell you how to get the nightfall done. This man will tell you where chests are. Like he's very beginner friendly for people. Obviously, for people who are experienced, yes. But definitely I gotta shout you out. You gotta plug you a little bit, man. Like you're fantastic with that kind of stuff. It just what's good about Ebontis Cat Daddy is that sometimes he'll give you the most efficient way, you know what I'm saying, to go about doing something. And he's very good at explaining it. So check my man out. We could plug some other people, you know what I'm saying? But can't think of anybody. A lot of the guys in the community right now, it's from a very advanced level. If you're coming in right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's the greats, you know what I'm saying? You have, the Cactuses and the,
you got the Dados and you got the unknowns, and I mean all those guys have awesome guides and stuff out there, especially when it comes to raids. But yeah, I mean lately be it like Nightfall solos if you're looking for Cade stashes, your weekly resets of stuff to do. But if you got me any questions, like hit me up on Twitter. Yeah, trust me, I'm always happy to answer that.
He's happy to, and you're gonna get direct access to Ebontis.
Yeah, straight up.
With your specific question, you ain't gonna get that kind of love with these. I'm just pumping my man up. I'm just saying.
I appreciate that.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
So yeah, lost sectors is a thing that was kind of like meh. Like outlawed lost sectors, if they get some twist in there, man, outlaw lost sector with like renown. Now that's one of those times you better get more than just like 10 tokens. If I do like an outlaw lost sector, you get 10 tokens again.
Help me. You don't want 10 tokens in the blue. You don't want that.
By the way, can I have a checkbox to like auto dismantle blues, or just not send them to my vault? Like, let me decide when I get to that like soft cap that, hey, if I pick one up, cool. But if I forget one, don't shove my postmaster full of a bunch of shit.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. They got to work on it. The blue overload is crazy.
It's just a bit ridiculous. That guy kind of looks awesome, though. Can I have his stuff?
Yes.
Seriously?
Let's go.
So next we got Tangled Shore. This is just, it was came out earlier in the week. So I mean, you guys may have already seen this one, but it was just the way they walked through and kind of explored it, and you got the feel for it. And this is where a decent amount of the campaign is going to take place. It just looks cool.
Absolutely.
Like you've got the random floating boulders strapped down with these like bungee cords and holding it down. The background, the skyboxes. You look off the edge, and it's just space. Just between these two places, both Tangled Shore and then Dreaming City, I cannot wait to get my exploration on.
To say that,
I was like, they are going to look amazing. I don't want to touch to Dreaming City too much. You go on that one, but let me on Tangled Shore first. You've got the reef. It's our first time to explore it. It was all of most of D1 we had it, but first time to actually go wander around most of it. You've got the feel of this, just literally you're wandering around in space. Like, I hope you got a helmet because we ain't breathing out here type situation. And it's just the world is out here exploring. You got the tumbleweed Western feel. We're gonna have the prison involved as a part of it.
Yeah, that's
so
just seeing that world.
There's a strike that has a prison of elders type of wave situation to it.
Yes,
I know it's got a
that's
little.
That's gonna be nostalgic feels, man.
Yeah, I wonder if like 20,000 times through, you're like, oh god, here we go. If it has a little variety to it, cool. But it's like most of your barons are going to be hunted in here, so you're going to have adventures to explore. And both of these places are not small. You got the Tangled Shore with enough space to do 8 different adventures, or at least 6, depending on where they move all the barons. That's a decent amount of space already. And then on top of that, the campaign going through there, and then a whole other space, Nessa's size, which I'm going to let you take the lead on. Dreaming City. Cannot wait till I get there.
Yeah, this is extra special for me because when I first got Destiny, first character class, Warlock. First race, Awoken. I was just drawn to it. I don't know. It just, you know what the character reminds me, with the blue skin and all that. It kind of reminds me of like, because I'm a big Silver Surfer fan, so it reminded like a Norrin Rad kind of feel. So I was like, yeah, this blue skin dude. I'm rolling with it. So now to kind of, because I always wanted to know more about their lore, like, why. I remember doing some Bife stuff and hearing some Island games, and they're talking about the race, and there's a lot of different little intricacies to it, to that whole race. So to learn about it, to be in their home world, and I'm also curious about how Zavala reacts to this, because technically, right, he's Awoken. Technically, this is his home world, before whatever. So, obviously he doesn't remember probably the previous life he lived, but it's just interesting to see, how they tackle that. And then from a visual standpoint, man, shout out to Drew, Awoken for life. Yo, that's my man right there. Yo. Drew, shout out, man. The Reaper's in the building, man. That was the first class that it just looked so cool. So, yeah, man, from what I'm understanding, this Awoken thing, the devs were talking from a perspective of like, you're going to feel like you're in some, like almost like a futuristic elven city, and it's just going to keep changing and open. The raid's going to be there. Now, is this the one, I believe that's the size of Nessus, they said?
Dreaming City, yeah. Dreaming City, they said, was Nessus size.
That's a huge box,
That's the second biggest planet we've got now.
That's a huge skybox to play with. So the secrets, then the fact that it evolves over time, things change, more secret. This is next level. We can use a sparrow. You know what I mean? Like, man, I can't wait. I am personally excited about this, and let's be real, like this is the first time a raid has a dedicated space as well. So yeah, man, I'm ready. Like this the one right here. This is for me all the way. Not that it's not for you either, but this is so me right here. So let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the cool part is the campaign leading into this next area, which is mostly in-game stuff, and just the fact that it's an area you can explore. The raid is technically in there too. Just an in-game patrol level world. Just there's going to be people you bump into and be like, oh, okay, I can't fight you yet. You're quite like, That doesn't exist and has not existed in Destiny 2, and really was barely there in D1, except for a couple parts where you went around to the wrong cave on crap, where was it? Cosmodrome. And you found that one ogre sitting in a cave, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, he was over tucked behind a cave, and then when you went all the way around to where the strike was for the Fallen Saber strike, when you weren't on that strike and you went around there, those guys were question marks if you went early enough too.
Remember that? Exactly. That's that old feel like, yo, you're not supposed to be here. You are not leveled. I love that kind of stuff. Like, hype.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a reason to actually be like, okay, it's somewhere for me to come back to. Gives you a reason. So that's most of the Tangle Chore. I'm trying to see what else we got for. Now, here's a question I wanted to ask you, and we're going to bring this article up so you can see it.
Bring it up.
Do you think we get too much from Bungie before we actually get the game?
Here's what I feel. I feel that I thought about this some more because I know this is a big talking point for you. I know me and you go back and forth on. We have a little disagreement with the Cade death reveal. Here's one. I actually have a mini issue with Game Informer, with them kind of telling a little bit too much.
Just giving this massive info dump.
Yeah, and shout out to Fire Team Chat, Destin Legary, and those guys. They kind of Destin brought up and say, "Look, we only going to cover the supers and this, right? We have Flashpoint, we can't resist. We're gonna cover a lot more. We're gonna cover everything." But you know, I get it. You know, there's some people that's like, yo, I don't want to know the thought process behind the spider. I don't want to know, you know, certain narrative things that are being explained to us, you know, even with the Cade stuff. I get that. So I actually think it's they're to blame. Now, the only thing me and you are at is obviously the Cade reveal. And the reason why I've really come along with it now is because, one, they had to sell it. We talked about that. But the second thing is the vibe I'm getting, as big as a shock that is and would have been if we didn't know, the vibe I'm getting is where this is leading to. And shout out to Unknown Player. You know, obviously we're going to have to get some retribution on Aldrin. Can we at least, you know, can I put that in?
Oh, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that has to be included, but there's a bigger arc than even that. And that's the curiosity. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to touch that right now, you know, because obviously people have talked about it, the speculation, you know, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Even by the Bungie devs are kind of playing in on the speculation, if you know what I mean. In regards to Holtzman's tattoo and his question and
and she.
I didn't want to say, but you know exactly. You know what I'm saying? So people are spinning, and I think maybe even bigger and deeper than we thought. And again, this is me putting my trust. I'm blaming Mylan Games if it goes wrong.
I just don't know if he's been there long enough.
I don't know if he's been there long enough, but I'm blaming you because you're down. You're helping the lore team, and you're helping the raid team. And one of your points was you wanted a conducive story, continuous flowing story into the raid that ends the narrative all the way. So if they doing that, I'm good with it. So here's your counterpoint to shut me down. Let me hear it. Come on, come disagree.
Like, all right, all that hype, all that good. All right, now you go ahead and bust my bubble.
I know you're gonna stop my fun. Come on.
So no. But I mean, you were saying like Game Informer's dropping a lot of stuff. Like, I don't mind being like, what they've done for the teasers for the Tangled Short. That was cool. I'm actually okay, like getting a little like not seeing every little nook and cranny, but just getting a feel for it, talking about it. Cool. The one like concept art of the Dreaming City, that's like enough for hype, but not too much.
Yes.
So I mean, give you an idea of. I mean, it's just like in World of Warcraft, like you get a like, you know, a 2-minute video and there's like 2 seconds of a blip of video of seeing a different zone. Like that's not much, but it's like it's like just enough to get hyped. Leave the damn guns out of it. They're one of those few things we get to earn. I don't want to know.
I'm with you on that. I'm with
you. The guns are one of those, just the stuff we can earn. We don't like armor. Unfortunately, my big thing. I'm gonna be pissed when armor's just here's the more armor.
You know that Instagram account gonna come out. You know how
I'm gonna explode when they. Well, okay, armor may be okay, but there's no set bonuses, which they even said that I think in the questions, which kind of sucks. There's like triumphs to see if you got the full set. I'm like, that's fine, but what if I have the full set? Give me a perk.
Yeah,
some of that stuff should be there. But that stuff aside, the few things that we get are exotic guns that are truly special.
Yeah.
And just the fact that this one here, it's got a cool story behind it. Release this article afterwards. Release this later. Have an in-depth thing
You know what? I agree with you on that because we're
like
in
later.
July and this thing comes out in
September. Yeah, and I already know like the full detailed description. I've seen gameplay of this thing, and this is like, okay, so it's just another one to add to the list. I know how it works, and it may feel kind of cool, but I already know it's there.
Yeah.
And there's only going to be so many. It's not like a full D3 release. They said like 10 to 15 exotics, so it's less than probably we've got for D2 so far. So,
no, I feel you. I feel you on that, and I think, I mean, it's I see the pluses and the minuses because Game Informer does such a good job with these kind of exposés. They did it with Rise of Iron, and I actually, you know, it's great traffic. Let's just keep it real. Like,
I know.
Yeah, you tune in, you're thirsty to see what's the next thing they're gonna talk about. You know, I think you are overall right that I think it's a little too early. It should probably be done way closer to the release window, and maybe some of the narrative stuff maybe even, you know, at the window or at right point, you know, past it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So no, I'm with you on it. I'm with you on that part. I like I said, I think I've come around with you on that. I've just, like I said, I still think overarching story with the Cade death specifically, I think it's because there is way more in store and the rabbit hole gets deeper. That's my gut is telling you.
Yeah, and that may be true. I'm not actually arguing that to any piece.
But you don't like that Cade got death was revenge.
But just the fact that, like, if it was in the moment, when you play God of War,
you're right. I know.
Like, there are moments
right.
in all games, but when you have those moments, those cinematic, like, epic moments, there's nothing touches those.
Here's the thing, and
I know it's gonna get bigger. I'm just saying.
No, not that. No, I got something else for you. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Getting all
you all right. I know we fighting this morning. It's cool. It's a very angry Flashpoint. It's cool. But here's the thing, though. They are not in position. Like they have to hit a home run, bro. Like Forsaken flops. So imagine the other way. Well, let's have it your way, right? And I know we at the hour mark. I got to cut this short.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we are.
You know, the thing is, if they didn't have it and we didn't know, right? What would really be the incentive to buy Forsaken? Be real. Let's say we didn't know, and it just shows, you know, Awoken City. You know, it just shows Fallen in the back. I think the narrative is different, man. I think there's not. It's like, oh, here come Destiny with reused assets. I can hear the hate. I can hear they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to do. You know, what are we doing back at the reef? Like, the context is different. Like, shout out to Drew in the chat. I know people that when they saw it, they said, oh no, they killed who? We got to go get people are buying the DLC. Aldrin is a public enemy #1.
Okay, so no, let me ask you this. If they made it more of a question mark. So say they had, like, you know, the opening trailer. You've got, like, and they don't show the side of the gun, so you know exactly who it is. Okay. Say you have, like, Aldrin, and you can only see him from, like, and it's got, like, kind of a silhouette. You see him, like, kind of got somebody pointing down, looks like somebody's on, but you cannot tell who it is. Straight up cannot see it.
Okay.
Then so they have like a blip of, like, Zavala or Ikora or Cade, and then you hear the gunshot, but you have no idea. You'd still be pissed at Cade, but you don't have the absolute for sure knowledge of who it is.
So then you want a whodunit. You want a cosmic whodunit. No,
but I was like, but it's just like, but it still would leave more question to be like, as opposed to in that moment, as opposed to going through the missions and you're like, oh, I got this thing going on. Oh, okay. Just waiting for it to happen going through the story. I would rather have at least some question going. There are other ways to build hype, and I'm not saying they didn't. It's like it's a favorite character, and it's a good way. And I can't argue they needed it because that's what I said. I haven't argued that they needed it, and it's been that push. It's been that, like, the story push paired with Gambit. I cannot argue it's not there. But for me, just those moments to experience on my own, I would be like, oh, hell, like that moment. I know I get older now and I'm still going through the story. There's a different motivation and stuff like that. But in that moment when that shit, I'm like, oh, we finished. Well, I'm just going straight through the story until I don't sleep. So I can get, like, it's a slightly different drive if you don't know it beforehand.
I I hear you, but shout out to Andrew in the chat. Like, look at, yeah, man. I didn't want to do shit. I didn't want to do shit with this game, and then that dude killed Cave. I'm about to see. These are the.
I know.
Listen to Drew. He is he used to be like, yo. I remember when Osiris came out. He was like, Cog, I am done with this game. He was like, you know how many some people threw it in the bushes? Shout out to Cam. I'm gonna use this expression. They threw this game in the bushes. They were like, we don't care. It was almost like they had to get galvanized the community in some way. And that Cade is everyone's favorite. No one would have cared if. I mean, I shouldn't say that with a car, but you know what I mean. The impact would be less. They'd be like, oh, okay, who's going to be the next? Maybe they bring Osiris back to the town. You know what I'm saying? Zavala, yes, it will have some effect, But at the end of the day, they were in the position that the main thing I like about it is that the game doesn't end with that. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. I do like that that's like almost the
right
kickstart. That's the catalyst that literally kicks everything off. So
and we got to find out why dude is flipping. Why is Aldrin doing this? Like, we didn't have all these. It's a lot of questions, and the queen it's so much stuff. So I get it from a hardcore gamer's perspective, and from a true narrative perspective. Yes, you are right. Maybe they should not have revealed that, and the shock value hits even harder, like a true single player narrative game, right? But as a multiplayer game where you getting the whole community involved, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you needed something. You had to get that spark, that emotion thing. We gonna kill this dude. He did what? You know what I'm saying? That's just, I see the effects. I think this is the right.
No, I mean, it worked. And honestly, I don't know if Bungie did it or other people did. The little memorial they had for him outside of E3. Dude, that was crazy. If that was not Bungie, that is even crazier. If it's actually
I gotta know who did. Yeah, that hit me, and I was like, this character has that effect. Like, it really hit me. And just from the standpoint of, think about this, the way they even said too, which is kind of dope. There's not going to be an immediate replacement for him.
Yeah.
There's going to be no Hunter Vanguard for a while. How they circumvent that, we'll see. But that adds that emotional impact. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's maybe a little cheap, or maybe a little Hollywoody. I see where you're going, but they had to, man. This game, if that Forsaken fails, bro, we may not have a Flashpoint podcast.
Yeah. Fair point.
Let's be real.
That's the trump card right there. Be like, we have a job,
man. We have faith in this game that we said we're doing a podcast at the worst possible time. People look at us like we were nuts, and we're sitting there watching them build this thing back, brick by brick, bringing D1 bricks back in, new cool things. We get excited, and we're at the moment, man. And my thing is, I'll sacrifice my personal narrative single player want for getting the community back. All right, I read it too long. We had an hour 10, but that's it. But I get you though. Trust me, I don't want to say that I don't get you. I really do. I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and even Award in my chat, he's like, well, it's like, and it's kind of a feel now. It changes the tone, and that's kind of what I heard from some people too. Yeah. It's like, is it this moment? Oh, is it this? Like, now you're going to be chomping at the bit for it to actually happen, which is going to be a little different. You're going to be like, oh, he's in trouble. Is this? Oh, well, we're all right. Okay, not quite yet. Then you're just going to be on it. Whatever that first like mission or true, that's going to be like,
yeah, you're gonna be looking at him he stumbled over that rock. Like every little thing he do.
Oh, he's coughing. Okay, hold on. Just like every single moment. Oh man, don't do that to me, Award. May next year is gonna rip my heart out. So don't do that. He's like Infinity War, and he's like, when somebody might go down. I'm like, oh dude, May next year I'm gonna need a box of Kleenex for myself, man. It's gonna suck.
It's gonna be crazy, man.
So little teaser on this gun. We won't go into too much details because if you haven't seen it, don't spoiler it. It's honestly just like a Frankenstein of an auto rifle, and it sounds like you're gonna have to be a little closer to use it if you want to get full use out of it, because it's not the most accurate thing in the world. It feels like somebody got stuck somewhere, shoved a whole bunch of parts together. Well, it may not be the greatest. It kind of works. And like the story about that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, hey, that's actually kind of cool. But that's one of those when Bungie goes through and does their like raid walkthroughs.
Yeah,
this is the type of time I want that type of story. Give me just like a little Bungie clip like later on, and let Bungie have be like, hey, here's one of our exotics. Some of you guys may have it, but here's a new one. Here's some story behind it. Cool. And I know Game Informer's got to get some stuff for theirs, but I think they probably got plenty without spoiling another exotic. It's just one of those that, and we could probably do this every single release. How much is too much? They're really good at building the hype train, but they're also really good at ruining some of my fun.
No, listen, I feel you, man. You're the classic case of. And what's funny is I literally normally subscribe to everything you say when it comes to video games, like that thought process, right? I want it to be surprised. I don't want to know nothing. I'm normally with you. It's just like I said, just a state of destiny. I'm just so happy my man Drew playing. Like I'm happy, Frodo, like people in the clan that just died off Destiny. To be honest, I didn't even think this would do it. I'm more shocked that the people who were part of the community are like, yo, I'm in.
That I will say the reaction, and I was like, it's a big gamble because like you can only do this once, and they've said that you can only do this to Cade, your favorite, one time, which also means you've also got to make me care about the others more,
right?
So
and
that adds even more weight. Sorry,
absolutely. Go ahead. And you can't cheap bring him back either. Like he's got to be gone, which they've confirmed. Yeah, I shout out to L Boogie in the chat. She's like, people are not gonna know how to act with Cade gone. Facts. It's gonna have emotional weight, and I like the way they're handling it. I like the fact that they're not giving them a replace. You're gonna go to that spot, and the homie's gonna be gone, and it's gonna hit. You know what I mean?
I just lost the whole video, dude.
sorry about you. Cade Stash videos. My bad.
Hashtag RIP my videos. Like seriously, the Cade Stash videos. I'm like, well, but. I was like, I guess they're just phasing those out, or nobody's gonna take them over. Like Cade Stash videos be toast. I'm like, damn.
Chat, please hit up Ebontis Cade videos while they still got time,
they still
man.
Matter. Hey, you can get some exotic there in case you're missing them. Like they're one that you can spend Glimmer on mods, which you already all have too many of. At least go spend your money on that Cade Stash. Give them some money. Let them go down with a pile of money.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, it just seems like a hodgepodge. The Cerberus +1 just seems kind of weird. So it's like 3 barrels look good, 4 is better. It's kind of crazy. Not the most accurate. Probably not a PvP gun, honestly.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be more of a PvE. Like you might pair this thing with a scout rifle or a pulse. Cover your range. This will be your medium feeler. Like I need to pump some weird shaped bullets going into some people.
Yeah,
so
just think Contra spread gun, man. That's how it's going to work. Up close is going to be really deadly. As it goes farther away, the spread will probably be weaker and less DPS.
Yeah, so kind of a cool one. I will give it this. It actually feels very unique.
Yes.
So
listen, we got to give Bungie what credit is crew. They're the king of gunplay, man. When it comes to that gunplay game,
good. But I was also sitting. You go. Sorry. No.
I'm just saying those unique designs and the things that the weapons teams come up with, these unique power fantasies and weird guns. Like, ain't no game doing this, man. We got to give credit where credit is due. As much as we complain, marketing team, gun design, art design, in my opinion, is second.
And sound.
It's not even close with these other games ain't doing that. Like, that's where they keep you coming back. There's nothing plays like that, you know?
What I was saying though, like I saw the ornament come through for Meta Multi-Tool. It's like RIP Meta Multi-Tool. It just doesn't have anything special to it anymore. I know it's just like your standard Meta workhorse, but like it's outgunned in PvP. PvE, it really doesn't have much of a point. Some of those I still just like, some still need a little love. That one for me is just like, it's just another scout rifle, and I feel like Nameless Midnight even does more than Meta Multi-Tool now. It's like it's just got nothing for me anymore, and it's like that's sad. I miss my Meta a little bit.
Like I said, balance patch coming. We got our bet. Balance patch coming on weapons day one, and super adjustment. It's going to be a super big tweak, just like they did with Taken King. Old classes, old weapons. Trust me. I mean, weapon archetypes. I feel they know high impact scouts. And scouts right now are in a bad place in general with Graviton running around.
It just took the whole reign. And you're like,
because Graviton is not a pulse. Let's just keep it real. The way it behaves,
straight up scout range,
straight up scout. So it's coming, man. I got faith in Wisniewski and the Soundbacks team. They're not gonna let this thing run crazy.
Yeah. So I think that's most of what we've got for you guys. I think that kind of covered our topics. We're trying to make these a little more reasonable. Keep it an hour and a half at a minimum.
Nice. We did good today, man.
Yeah. I mean, you got the giant bombcasts. They're huge. But but Flashpoint sometimes feel like they have to cut a little short. So we're trying to work on that fall between an hour and 20 minutes. We're at hour and 21 right now. Not bad. Yeah. Reasonable. Not too terrible. But yeah. So we've got literally Summer of Solstice starts. So you got the 17th. We have 2 more TWABs before Summer of Solstice is live.
Yeah.
So next week, maybe? You thinking? Yeah. We got only 2 flashpoints before summer as well.
Right. So you think we say next week is because isn't next week Faction Rally as well? I think Faction Rally comes back next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Iron Banner's this week. Right. Faction Rally should be next week.
Right. Faction Rally and 1.2.3.
Yeah, 1.2.3. So then they got the Prestige raid layers coming. So that's going to be there.
Yes.
Hold on. Let me find that picture. They have it dated.
Yeah,
that stuff's all coming back. Yeah, here we go. 17 to 23rd, patch 1.2.3, final Faction Rally. Supremacy is going to be in your Crucible playlist because they're switching that up to only be in that rotation. 24th to 30th, Faction Rally Winners Week. That might be actually when they drop all the news because the Winners Week is pretty mild. But yeah, one of those 2, it's got to happen because July 31st, Solstice, we're going. Yeah. So I'm actually going to be out from the 21st to the 23rd. So I really hope it's not then. Otherwise, we're going to be doing something on like crazy day.
Yeah. It's going to be it's going to be lit. Shout out to Elbuggy said gameplay is the only reason to come back. The story is short as hell. And the weapons and tools, but the gameplay is superior to any other shooters. And that's what they got over everybody else. It's so good, man. And like I said, with this new direction, I like this darker tone with the story. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. No doubt.
Yeah, I was like, and then I sit there and I think, and I watch Anthem, and while the gameplay does look fun, it is still like a third person, just kind of a machine gun pointed at it. It doesn't have the flying actually looks like it feels pretty cool. But the guns themselves, like firing every single gun in Destiny is just crisp. Has its unique piece. And even I was leveling up my Hunter just on my birthday little mini stream and just going through even just a little Pariah, the little auto rifle that you get. It still feels like, dude, it just feels right. It feels
right, man. The gun combination, the gunplay. I just working on the Polaris. I finally stopped being lazy and working on the Polaris Lance Quest.
Yeah, I need to jump on that too.
Yeah, I finally got the legendary version of it. And I'm like, damn, this is even good too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this things feel different, feel good. Everything feels unique, has its own place. And then you're thinking about different loadouts. Finally got my Darcy Catalyst, so I'm happy about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, oh man. And then you got PvP. You know what I'm saying? It just, Destiny has so much going for it. That's why I said if they just keep on this path, correct what they need to correct. You know what I'm saying? I'll look at that new raid. You already know. They talk about bosses too. Oh man, it's just, they're set up. You know, they're set up right now the way they're going to really try to bring this thing back. So we're gonna monitor. We're gonna reel it in a little bit, but we're excited.
So trying to stick into a plan. Definitely not as crazy as last week. Kept it to under an hour and a half. But
yes, sir.
If you guys don't catch it, you want to go back and listen to it, or just share it with your friends. We'll always have our archives both on your channel and mine. Check us out. Subscribe to our channels, guys. Follow us on Twitter. We're goofy. We're ridiculous. Sometimes I make things in the kitchen. Sometimes I'm playing video games, so you never quite know what we do. But hey, I like my cheesecakes. All right.
I ain't mad at you, bro.
Hey, but you're like, all right. And then like, what was it last Friday morning for Summer's birthday? It was stuffed French toast. They're like, are you kidding me?
I'm like, you got to stop right now, man. This woman is getting blessed. She better appreciate you, man. But
oh no, my life is amazing. I would not have anybody else though. But yeah, so
man, thank you so much. You guys are great. We really appreciate you coming in, listening, man. We definitely love doing it. We still love doing this thing. We still got that love for Destiny. But got your outros. I cut you off there, man. My bad.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's twitch.com Ebontis, twitter.tv or twitch.tv Ebontis, twitch.com, twitter.com. It's Ebontis everywhere. Just EBONTIS.
Yeah.
Trying to see if I can finalize my logo here. I know it's been dragging, but I was like, I'm just trying to finalize like little mini tweaks. But I was like, I'm basically there. So banners, logos, all that stuff will be changing here soon. Finally look a little better. Work on a little intro for my videos. Trying to look a little professional. Give it a good look. So
man. I seen it behind the scenes, y'all. Looks really good. I can't wait for them to pull the trigger.
So I'll give you guys a little peek while you were doing your little
exclusive.
Little exclusive peek. Not that one. Crap. Hold on.
He's like, no, not that one.
Not that one. No. Basically gonna look something along the lines of probably close to this.
Okay. All right. Let's get it.
So
Cheetah's back.
I got the cheetah, I got the watermark in the background, but I've got options actually in working with the artist that I am. I've got so the small head logo. And by the way, if you guys got any thoughts in chat on this, by the way, please throw any comments out there as I'm doing some final tweaks. So logo for like Twitter, Twitch, stuff like this, just whatever's a circle, Google, gonna be a little head, be it aggressive or tame. I got standing up, sitting down, and then we also got
the aggressive one. Was when he argued with me about K Def. That's what that represents.
Do what? Oh,
the aggressive cheetah.
It's like just playing Destiny 2 right now. Year 1, Destiny 2. I'm pissed. I'm going after you. But yeah, so.
Nice.
But yeah, this one I like, so I could actually have it laying down and then actually have the watermark in the background. So either way, this is pretty much what I'm leaning towards. So something pretty close to working on a little video intro. But that's just a little tease for you guys. It is coming, so pretty close. Artist did an awesome job. He put up a whole lot of tweaks for me, and basically not a logo, but about 4 different ones. So it's a patient dude, but yeah, definitely a nice looking stuff. So that's mine. A little long-winded. So what about you?
Yeah, man, this Sunday, as you know, actually on social media before even getting all that at Lord Cognito, most of you already know, you know what I'm saying? So Xbox Live, the clan is popping right now. We are now officially Iron Lord Podcast Clan. Please look for us on Bungie.net. We're actually recruiting. We got a couple of dedicated hardcore Trials and Glory players that we just signed to contracts. You know what I'm saying? So we try to go to the lighthouse, man. That's the only deficiency in the clan. We got great raiders, you know, and we have people that play consistent now. But the thing is we're just trying to get the PvP scene. So my boy Tack, he's just got signed. CDR, he's in there. You know, these guys are really good. You know, I got a chance to play with them a bunch of times, and maybe I can get carried because Crucible, I'm good in Crucible. I'm above average in very, very solid high level player in standard Crucible. But when it comes to Trials, that's a different. I drop down to average, so I like to play more of a support role, kind of a deal. So definitely trying to get that popping. But yeah, as far as Destiny, been almost full time with it. Back again, getting my catalyst, grinding, getting stuff done before content release. As far as this Sunday, obviously the Lords will return to the round table in the realm on the Tick Network. We'll be there Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We will have special guest Southbound. El Boogie knows exactly who this is. He's huge in the Xbox community. Good guy. And yeah, we've been talking a good friend to the realm, so it's gonna be real fun. It's gonna be real lit. Should have some fun. The topics will be hilarious. Lord King, Lord Addict, Lord Solve will be in the building. So Sunday, 1 p.m. the Inner Circle Network. Make sure you tune in. And obviously, Flashpoint is here on Iron Lord Podcast. Please subscribe to Ebontis' Twitch channel as well and his YouTube channel, Cat Daddy. That's for you because you need those beginner walkthroughs. So make sure you hit E with that. And yeah, man, that's all I got. Obviously, you know, Flashpoints is still here. We're still rocking on Fridays with that. More content also will be coming to Iron Lord Podcast channel. Try to give you guys more programming on our personal channel as well.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at it next week. Try and keep this a little more reasonable. But watch Twitter. Watch our watch everything. We'll be back. If you got questions, hit us up.
Yeah, man.
I'm definitely not huge. I'll probably answer you.
we ain't got a lot going on, so we can answer.
No, it's like I'm in that middle ground, but it's like honestly, it's just kind of like when it comes to friends. I'd rather have some awesome regulars than a whole bunch of people I'm not that close with. So hit me up if you got any questions, be it about computers or anything else, movies. Got a word in my chat talking about Infinity War and gonna make me cry. So yeah. So thank you guys. Have yourselves a great one and enjoy your weekend. It was awesome.
No doubt. Peace.